Welcome back to another episode of Stu and Him Productions presents
J&M Solve the World. I'm James.
and I am Matt, and with us once again is our special guest Andrew.
Hello.
Special shout out to our last podcast. We talked about our band Blindside.
Look at that shirt.
Yeah, check that
That's as the kids nowadays would say, that is a throwback.
shit out. That is a throwback. I got several drawers full of throwback concert t-shirts.
Yes. Topic tonight will be your dream car.
The dream car.
Well, let me rephrase that. Your dream vehicle.
Oh, okay. Well, shit, that could mean airplanes and shit.
Right, but it's something that, something that you've always dreamed of having.
Mine has probably always been the 1964 Shelby AC 427 Cobra. I mean, any car that can go 0 to 100 and back to 0 in 15 seconds. Yeah,
Okay.
that's...
Andrew.
Mine would be a 1972 Chevrolet Custom 10. Let me see. Chevrolet Custom 10 Cheyenne Deluxe pickup.
Okay.
Half ton, red and white. Houndstooth interior,
Oh shit, we're getting fucking deep here.
Get deep.
everything back in the day, AC, tilt, cruise. No, I'm sorry, didn't have cruise then. AC, tilt, tachometer, in which that was a
It was an option.
oddity
Yeah.
back in the day.
Especially on pickup trucks.
Yeah, pickup trucks.
Automatic or manual?
Back in the day, it was mainly automatics.
For pickup?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
They didn't have that granny low back then for the...
Because I know the old Dodges had the 3 on the tree. And I'm wanting to say the old Fords. I think you could get the automatic, but it was the 4 on the floor, because I remember my dad had one, and it was the long ass fucking gear shift, and it was.
I got a 71 Ford out there, and it's a 3 on the tree.
Yeah.
302, 3 on the tree. I remember driving the first Chevrolet pickup truck I drove was my neighbor's. It was an inline 6. I mean, it was a plain Jane. It was like a 69 model, but it had that 3-speed with a granny low. Basically, it was a 4-speed.
Right.
And it had low first, second, third. And second was over here somewhere around the glove box, and there was like 3 places that it tried to go in, but there was only one of them that worked.
Yeah.
But that granny low, you could hook it to that, and you could literally get out of the truck.
And walk faster than the truck could crawl.
Well, you could load hay that way.
Right.
If you had a long, straight deal, you just got out and helped everybody load hay, then you got back in it and turned around and come back the other way.
Right.
You were ghost riding before ghost riding was a thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the Sierra was probably an automatic because it was the upper class.
Yeah, he said a
Well,
Cheyenne though.
Oh, a Cheyenne.
The
That's
Sierra was the GMC version.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
The Cheyenne Sierra was, flip a coin,
Right.
same thing.
basically had different grill and different tailgate. Was the taillights the same?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know,
all the GM trucks, I mean, they've pretty much always been the same. It's just the grill, the tailgate, and like the GMC is more towards your working, like your work trucks, and Chevy was more of the comfort, if you will.
I thought,
But then-
I thought it was exactly the opposite. I thought the GMC was more of the upper class. You would know more about this than I do.
well,
So
Because I don't wear no bow tie.
I don't necessarily wear a bow tie, but I've always leaned toward, you know, General Motors, in which nowadays.
But I know back in the old days, the Chevy cars were more of the baseline cars.
Right,
When
and
you got into Oldsmobiles and Pontiacs and
Cadillac.
of course, Cadillac. You know, they're still
Well,
around, but
well, you
the
know,
Oldsmobile and the Pontiacs, they were a thing.
Buick.
Buick, that's it. They were more of your upper class, where the Chevrolet was kind of a plainer car.
well, right, you know,
But even though the 57 Bel Air was what everybody wanted,
well, yeah,
you know, nobody wanted a 57 Buick or a 57 Pontiac.
Oh, I would love to have a 55 Nomad, though.
oh well,
Well, that's
who
sure
wouldn't? I mean, I'd
Now-
love to have a 55 Nomad.
My dream car, a 1973 De Tomaso Pantera. An Italian car with a Ford 351 Cleveland mid-engine motor.
Respect. What do you say?
Walk on, homeboy, or walk on, homeboy. You know, you just you change the punctuation there, and
Well, anyway,
my love for the Italian cars, I blame on like the music video "Can't Drive 55." I blame on the television show Magnum PI. That Ferrari,
That Ferrari is my favorite Ferrari. That was a Ferrari 308.
yes,
And
GT.
They for 308 GT, and,
Yes.
and then they come out with the Testarossa around that same period of time, and I thought the Testarossa was ugly as shit
Right.
because I love that 308. That was just. In fact, I was in Springfield one time back in. Oh God, it had to have been the late '80s, and I'm driving down the road in my Mustang 2 V8. You know, of course, I had it all tricked out, looking like a Cobra 2 and everything. So it
Yeah.
wasn't that bad of a Mustang. Mustang 2 haters. It's pretty quick with the 302 I had in it because it was not the factory. It was out of a '71 Mustang, and it was bored and punched, and I had a bigger cam and 4-barrel, and yeah, it was pretty nice. But I'm driving down Glenstone Highway, and I look in my rearview mirror and I see this fucking Ferrari 308 coming up behind me. I'm like, whoa, shit. So I'm turning down my music, because you always had your music cranked back then.
Oh, yeah.
you know, shit's about to get real.
Oh, yeah. And he pulled over to go around me, and it was like, it sounded like a fucking sewing machine. It was like, that's fucking badass. Even though that motor was only a 283 cubic inch motor,
Right.
but it was a V12.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing
Hell,
that
who knew?
Yeah.
well, that's the thing that the Europeans have always done is they've had the smaller cubic inch motors, but they've always been the fucking high output. You know, the Porsche, the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, they've always, you know, and McLarens now, and you know, whatever. I don't think
If you wanted a good solid freaking car, the Mercedes.
right.
I mean,
Well, and
even though they made some ugly sons of bitches,
Oh yeah,
but that one in Roadhouse, that Patrick Swayze drives in Roadhouse,
yeah.
that was a nice looking car. I would
Well,
love to have owned that car.
and that's the
I don't-
one thing-
I don't even know what model or anything it was.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
That's the one thing that I will give the Germans when it comes
Oh.
to automotive. They know ergonomics.
Right.
They know comfort, and I mean, and that goes for not just for vehicles, but handguns as well. Because if you've ever picked, especially like the new HK VP series, the VP9 and the VP40, if you ever put one in your fucking hands, oh my god, or the Walther, another German
Walther PPK or
oh my god,
yeah.
it's like you put it in your hand and the gun has just like your hand has now become part of that gun, and it just feels amazing.
So you're saying the gun melts to your hand, basically?
That's what it feels like.
Or your
Pretty
hand
close
melts to
to
the
it.
gun. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Either or.
When Vez, shout out Jeremy Harmon, Vez, how you doing?
Vez.
When we went to prom, junior and senior year, he borrowed his uncle's Mercedes. And we rode to prom in a fucking Benz, and I tell you what, I mean, it was the most comfortable car I'd ever been in. The ergonomics in it, the comfort to it, but it still had that European. All right, you want to go, motherfucker?
Right. And when you got out and shut the door, it went. There was no rattle or
No.
It was just
Right.
yeah.
You know, and the for me the Pantera, it was something different. I know originally
Pantera would not be that ergonomically comfortable.
no, it
It
was
would have been loud.
it was definitely
It would probably have vibrated your ass, but that was what was so cool.
you know, and it was definitely an Italian design, but you know, I think the early years of the Pantera, they had a 302. But again, a 302 in a 2,100-pound car.
Yeah, you know, we was talking about that earlier. I seen a Pantera back in, oh God, it had to be 89, 90. Steak and Shake in Springfield used to have a cruise in once a month. And it was all Chevelles, Camaros, Mustangs, you know, muscle cars. And there was a freaking Pantera sitting there, and I'm like going, holy crap.
Oh, wow.
I thought it'd be bigger.
Yeah.
Kind of like Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse. I
Right.
thought you'd be bigger. You know? But it is about the size of a freaking Fiero.
Right.
You know, but it was like, oh, Jesus Christ, this got a 351 in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is fucking crazy.
Well, I
You
mean,
know?
you think about the GT40 or the Ford GT, you know, they're fucking top of the roof. You're what, 36?
No, the GT40 got its name by the top of the roof, measured 40 inches
Off the ground.
off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it got its name, the GT40, because its roof line was 40 inches from the ground.
and it was if I'm not mistaken, it was the first American mid-engine car. Because even the Corvette at that time was a front engine.
Corvette didn't go to mid-engine until last year.
Right.
Now, well, I don't know. The old Corvairs, they were mid-engine or rear engine, but I wouldn't call that a sports car.
No. You know, and
Your
that's
Volkswagens were rear engine because the engine set basically over the rear axle.
your Porsche was a rear engine
Yeah,
because of the same
Porsche,
thing.
Volkswagen, you know.
right.
Your Lamborghinis and your Ferraris were always, well, not always, but I mean they were the ones that we're talking about. They were mid-engine.
Right.
Because you go back and you look at like the Ferrari Dino, that was a front engine car, and the funny part about both of those companies is they were started by fucking farmers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If my memory serves me correctly, which don't quote me on this because I mean
If we had somebody like Rogan does, we could look that shit up.
yeah,
But
but
we don't have the
Lamborghini.
high budget right now. So
Lamborghini worked for Ferrari, and Lamborghini was a tractor company,
Right.
yeah.
and they started making supercars
Right.
to go up against Enzo Ferrari, and Enzo was pretty damn close to selling to Henry Ford the third, I believe.
I believe that's right.
And then some bad blood happened, and Carroll Shelby beat Ferrari at Le Mans, and
3 years in a row, wasn't it, with the GT40?
no, the GT40 1 year, and I want to say, but that was Carroll wasn't a driver that year.
No.
The 1 year that Carroll beat them, I don't think it was a GT40. I don't think it was a Ford. I know he was an American that beat
he
the
beat
Italian
them
team.
before the Fords actually beat Ferrari. I'm just going off the movie here, Ford versus Ferrari. I think Ford won it after Ford won it with the GT40. I believe they won it the next 2 years.
Yeah, because and Ford has always been known to, hey, once we beat you and once we set the bar, fuck it, we're done.
Right.
You know, when they set that the track records at like Daytona and Talladega and whatnot, test driving some of their new cars with the new engines and everything. Once they set that bar, fuck it.
Well, whenever Bill Elliott set the the fastest speed ever at Talladega, at 200 and don't give me a line, 213, 217, whatever it was, in a qualifying lap. The next year they implemented the restrictor plates.
Yeah.
Because the cars were going way too fast in the draft. And it wasn't because they were worried about driver safety. I mean, that was a consideration, but they were worried about the safety of the fans.
Right.
Because if you get a 3,500-pound stock car going 230 mile an hour and it flips up and hits that fence ain't going to hold it.
One wrong move, and that car is a...
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's been plenty of them went airborne over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But their speeds were kept down at that 190,
80, 190, yeah.
200 mile an hour, and they've tore the shit out of the fence.
Right.
But if they're going 230 mile an hour, which the stock cars could have done a few years ago if they weren't restricted, they would have went through the fence and killed a bunch of people.
Right.
And that's why NASCAR said, no, we're doing restrictor plates. And then now it's all computer controlled because they got fuel injection and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
I don't remember what their fastest speed was this year at Daytona. It was under 200 mile an hour, right at 200 mile an hour. But the fence can withstand that. But anything over that, it gets real sketchy.
Right.
I mean, but Carl Edwards went through the fence at Talladega. There were some people got hurt because of debris that the fence didn't catch.
Well,
you know, and he's sitting there after
and
he walked away. But he's like going, yeah, when the car stopped, I'm looking down to see if I got anything stuck in me.
Well, yeah, I mean,
the rails of the fence or whatever.
It is a chain link fence, but it's like chain link with chicken wire in it.
And it's also got reinforcement panels and stuff.
And there's a reason why the walkways in the stands, there's a yellow line that you can move past that yellow line, but you cannot stop and be that close to the fence.
Yeah, you can't stand there and look on the fence. Watch the race go by.
8-10 feet away from the fence is where you can stop and look at a race. You know, but when I saw NASCAR, what was it, 99 in Phoenix, and this was, you know, I mean, it was classic Winston Cup, because I got a fucking free carton of Winston cigarettes. But you know, it was that classic Earnhardt, Gordon fucking shootout. Tony Stewart won that race because I'm wanting to say it was his
rookie year.
Yeah. But there was a yellow line that you could not stop past that. I mean, you could walk back and forth and everything, but you had to stay behind that yellow line if you wanted to stop.
Right.
I stood in front of where the Budweiser car sat, their pits, and this was before Junior drove for Budweiser.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it was, being a muscle car lover, being a lover of that fucking V8 sound. When all the cars are sitting on pit row and you hear, "Gentlemen, start your engines," and it's just like, whoa. Then they come around that first lap with the pace car. They're doing 55, and then because I was right before the start finish line, and they come around turn 4, and the fucking green flag comes out, and it's like everybody gets up to speed, and you just hear the. It's like, oh my god, I gotta go change my pants. That was amazing.
Give me a moist towelette.
I'll tell you what's cool here locally. If you go down to like Lucas Oil or something like that, when they have a big late model event, it's 3/8 mile track. They got 22 late models, and before they start the big races, they line them all up 4 abreast. And these are like 900 horsepower, freaking V8. And it's like, oh shit. And then they drop them back 2 by 2, and they drop the green flag. It's like, holy shit, these guys aren't going to make it to the first corner.
Yeah.
And then they do. You're like, how in the fuck they do that? Because they pile in on top of each other. It's like,
right.
It's awesome. I mean, it's cool.
And I remember when I was in high school, and Chris's dad, your brother, would sit there and always have the NASCAR races on. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? This is boring. This is like fucking watching golf. Honestly,
it's like watching cars on the freeway.
Yeah.
Until one of them fucks up.
Right. But then when you actually go to a NASCAR event, and it's like, oh my god, and you feel that motor, you're able to.
You smell the burnt rubber.
Oh my god.
You smell the gasoline, and which is going to suck in 15 or so years when they're all electric, but you'll still smell the burnt rubber.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, will the restrictor plate still be there?
Well, if they're electric, they can restrict whatever.
Right, but with electric, your power is instant.
But the bad thing about it, all the races are going to have to be 300 miles or less. Unless they figure out some solar panels to put on top of them or something and charge them while they're going. I mean, seriously, I didn't mean to turn this conversation into this conversation, but you think it take a Tesla S with a plaid package? It's going to whoop any car 0 to 60 that's on the market today. I don't care if it's a Ferrari or McLaren or a Corvette.
There are YouTube videos, guys pulling an S up to a drag strip, shifting into the plaid, and beating fucking Hellcats in a quarter mile.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Any gasoline, no, they're not going to go 0 to 60 in 1.8, 1.9?
Yeah.
Because you got the electric motors driving all 4 wheels.
Yep, and it's instantaneous.
It's just gone.
Right.
There's no shifting.
Just like that.
Yeah.
You're doing.
It's freaking crazy.
And they're doing them. And what's funny is, a lot of guys will go to the drag strip and they start tearing shit out. They want to get as light as possible. I've seen dudes beat fucking Hellcats with 4 people in the Tesla.
Yeah.
They're fucking hanging out, and they're just like, oh, hey, I guess it's time for us to go.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
My nephew, Howie. Shout out, Howie, if you're watching this, brother.
Hello.
When he got married here a few years ago, they had a Tesla limo.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Some custom shop there in Las Vegas had done this custom limo. and he knew the driver, and he got in. He's like, you want to see what this bitch will do? It's like, sure. It's like, boom. It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They make a
Okay, so I've changed my mind. I want a Tesla.
you know, I can get behind that, but I'm more of a
Well-
truck guy, and I would love to have one of the new Ford Lightnings, simply because I want a frunk.
You want a frunk? Yeah.
A frunk.
Yeah.
So those
And
that
then-
don't
and then
know,
when
and
you're-
Andy's giving me that look.
I'm getting ready to say something. What
Yes.
the hell, the front?
So, okay, you pop the hood on your truck. Mm-hmm. You rip that motor out, and you enclose that. Now that is a trunk in the front of your truck.
Okay.
Since it's electric, there's no electric motor sitting up
right.
there. It's
There's-
All the batteries
All the
go
wheels.
completely under the center of it.
and the motors are on the wheels.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, it's like a
And
Volkswagen
then
back
when
in the day.
and then when your power goes off, you can plug it into your house, and
There it is.
you know, I don't know. I haven't heard them say what. You know, how long can that run your house?
Right. Well, I know
You know, I mean, is it for a couple hours or?
on the release, they said, running the basics, refrigerator, your lights
Right.
and whatnot.
TV,
You're looking at like at least 2 days.
really? Wow.
And then on the Lightning with the charging ports,
what
one on
about-
each side.
What about in the wintertime though, when you got to have heat?
Ooh.
If you
Well,
got,
see now-
if you got electric heat, I mean,
Right.
I would think that would
But if-
significantly decrease the.
But
time,
but but I also believe that if you're if you've got that ability, you're going to have solar panels. And that's going to help.
Yeah, but your solar don't. Like, I've got solar panels,
Right.
and when the power goes out, there's a switch that flips them off, so that it doesn't backfeed up to, because you're still going to be connected to the grid
Right.
until they get the battery technology well enough where you can charge your batteries during the day and then run off your batteries at night. Then you can totally unhook from the grid.
Well, I know
But if you're hooked to the grid, there's a switch, just like on a generator switch, that flips it off. So when the power guys are out here working to get your shit back on, that they don't get electrocuted because your solar panels are putting power back up into the system.
right. Well, I know
That's why I bought a generator with my solar panels.
Tesla has solar walls and they have solar roofs. Now, I read an interview in an article about a couple in California who did the solar roofs, and it took them a good 4 years before they started getting money back from
Really?
the electric company. Because I mean, the initial cost, that fucking sucks because.
yeah. But that's
but
getting
it's
cheaper
the-
all the time.
Right, and and it's the power, like their power bill is going down. But it took them time before they started getting money back.
Well, like with the power company we have now, they don't write you a check for you putting more power than you're using in.
Right,
But the way they do it is, like, I've been paying like the minimum that you have to pay to be hooked up to it.
right,
And I've got a yard light and everything is like $33. But in the wintertime, when there's not as much sunlight, of course, the days are shorter, and you start getting back into that, they store all the extra power you put in, and you start using off of that. Like last winter, I had one bill that was actually over $33 because I'd used more than
right.
my storage was and everything.
Okay,
So, but then there's a power company in Buffalo, Missouri, that they will pay you each month for every kilowatt hour you go over that you produce. So it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other.
right.
You know,
And to bring us back full circle, you know, so
Who knows? That's why we call this J&M Solve the World, because we start on one subject and we've been drinking a little bit, but we get random every once in a while.
yeah. So to recap, your dream car,
The AC Shelby Cobra 427.
your dream vehicle,
1972 Chevrolet or GMC custom,
C10 Cheyenne.
C10, C15, long bed pickup, AC, power steering,
Yeah.
tilt.
And mine, of course, is the 1973 De Tomaso Pantera. And on that note, I have been Matt.
But I think we all like the rumble of the big V8.
Oh,
Apparently.
Oh yeah.
You can't beat that. The only thing that sounds better than the rumble of the V8, in my opinion, is that European V12 sound. That Lamborghini, that Ferrari sound.
When you're sitting in the car and you start that Chevelle or that Mustang or whatever, and it goes, you can feel it through the floorboards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. The V12 sound is great, but I'm an American. I like the American sound.
America!
I'm American, by God.
All right.
But, yeah,
I have been Matt,
I'm James.
and he is once again still Andrew. And you have
Or
watched another episode of,
J&M, Solve the World.
and we will see you next time.